Hey everyone, so welcome to the first week of season 2. This week we're going to be talking about why spells don't always work. This is actually a viewer request from Ms1 or Miz1. I'm not really sure how you say it. It's M-I-Z-Z-1. And this person wrote us a message, a request, pretty much paraphrasing, that they've tried many spells for a number of years and never had a problem with the spell not working. They found a particular spell they were looking for, tried it, and it doesn't seem to work. And, this person's always been told and had the impression that, if the intent is there and the focus is there, that there's really no reason the spell shouldn't work, and that they would like to see us do a topic on this. So, my take on spell work and why they don't always work, I see spells sort of like a prayer. And, well, before I even get into that, I think that our mistake a lot of times is, when we're talking about doing spells or meditation work or energy work or whatever it is, we always get so used to saying, if the intent is there, if you're focused, if you're really grounded and centered, and your intent is strong and clear, that your will come true, that the spell will work. And that's not always the case. Not every spell is going to work. For me, spells are like a prayer, and I kind of think of it like a ball of energy. Okay, the center, the most powerful part is the intent, and then the words you speak, the words of the spell, adds a layer to that, and the herbs you use or burn adds a layer to that, and the crystals add a layer to that, and the love and whatever else you're using in that spell adds a layer to that. And when you're done, you cast that energy into the universe, and you hope and you have that intent that what you're wanting is going to happen. But the universe always has that ability to not let that energy work in that manner. Not every spell you do is going to work. And in my opinion and in my practice and in my own personal experiences, if a spell doesn't work, it's because it's not supposed to. Now, I'm not one of those people that thinks, everything's written out, our fate's already sealed. I'm not one of those type of people, but I do believe things happen for a reason. And, we get so used to kind of having that personal power, and we think that we can just do a spell for it. And I'm not talking about this viewer in particular, I'm talking about myself as well. Because, you have that feeling of, okay, I'll do a spell and, everything will be fine. And that's not always the case. A spell isn't always going to work. It's not that you're doing it wrong. It's not that the spell is no good. It's just maybe a spell just isn't right for the situation that you're dealing with. Maybe a spell just isn't the answer. I've had spells that I've done for one situation and nothing happened, and use the same spell for a different situation and it worked. So I think, it really just depends. The universe is in control, regardless of how long you've been practicing or how much, power you think you have or how experienced you are. The universe makes the decision. That's my own personal belief. Just because you say it, just because you do it, doesn't mean it's going to happen. You're sending that energy, that intent into the universe, and hopefully it will attract what you're wanting and will work the way it's supposed to. But that intent and that energy goes out there in the universe, and that the universe has the right and the ability to do with it what it wants. And things may not work out the way you want. So, you need to just look at the situation maybe a little differently. Maybe there's a different approach you can use other than a spell. But I think that we need to get used to the fact that spells aren't always the answer. Sometimes things run their course, and a spell just isn't going to fix it. So I feel like I kind of rambled a little bit. I hope that this made sense. And thank you guys for watching, and enjoy the rest of the host this week. Bye.